Hello everyone, hello friends. I hope that you guys are doing well. आप सारे अच्छे होंगे. And welcome to Pratham Test Prep. I am Ashish Bhargav. And welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis that we do from Monday to Friday at sharp 11:30 a.m. Newspaper analysis is very very important because in this newspaper analysis we discuss about all the important news from all major newspaper we will cover in this session. Majorly we discuss about The Hindu and Indian Express, and as we know that The Hindu and Indian Express, most of the questions they are fetched from the newspaper. So what is the best source for current affairs is newspaper. One more request for everyone: if you are new in this channel, please subscribe the channel as well, and do not forget to press the bell icon so you will get the notification of all our Pratham Test Prep mentors. So in daily news analysis we discussed mainly about national news, international news, like where PM visit and their capital, currency, economy based news, sports based news, science and tech, personal news, summits and conference, miscellaneous. And apart from that, we discuss also Supreme Court verdict, which is very, very, very important for your, especially for the law entrance exam. Like if you are going to appear CLAT, AILET, and other entrance exam, UG entrance exam, that is also important. And we also discuss about the state initiative, which is also important because this gives you the idea like which state taking what kind of initiative. So moving further, so here is the quote of the day: if your voice is high, only a few people will hear. If your thought is high, then many people will listen. And to inculcate the thought process, what exactly you need to do? You have to develop the temperament to read the newspaper. And just one small positive thought in the morning that can change your whole day. And study hard, no matter if it seems impossible, no matter if it takes time, no matter if you have to up all night. Just remember that the feeling of success is the best thing in the entire world. And is questions of the day, and questions of the day is very very more important because this gives you immense idea like what kind of questions that can be framed from the current affairs, and try to solve that question. That would be very 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 important. So now let's start before wasting time. Here is the very first news is green growth push. क्या है इस आर्टिकल में, and what are the important takeaways for your exam we will discuss in this article. So if you talk about is green growth push. So green growth has been listed among the 7 priorities of the budget 2023-2024, and there were two sessions in newspaper analysis is for budget is we can say there is an highlights and there is an we can say complete analysis. Both things that we have discussed. So go to the Pratham Test Prep YouTube channel and watch it. So green growth that we can say is listed among the 7 priorities of budget 2023-2024. This is a welcome move considering the acceleration in economic development is concerned. And one interestingly, बहुत सारे programs that was mooted in the budget for this purpose has been assigned aptly coined vernacular epithets as the government want. So इसमें पहला था हमारा Govardhan, which means that we can say galvanizing organic bioagro resources. Mishti programs, that is Mishti, which means we can say that mangrove initiatives for shoreline habitats and tangible incomes. And Amrit Dharohar basically for the preserving wetlands and other vital biodiversity sustaining ecosystem. Can anyone tell in the comment section that when we celebrate the word is World Wetland Day? This was in the January or February. This is the hints for you. And we can say the system that we can say is PM Pranam, which means program for restoration, awareness, nourishment and amelioration of Mother Earth. So PM Pranam is for the this kind of schemes which is very very important for the sovereignty of India, but that has to be not mooted in the budget session. And set up National Green Hydrogen Mission that was announced last month, that to create hydrogen production capacity of at least 5 million metric tons per annum Because why it is going on? Because most of the dependency is on, for our dependency is on OPEC country for the petroleum. So that's why government want to reduce this. And on the whole, budget green push per se challenging the potential day lasting dividends. Now moving to the next one. Here is a quite similar article is talking about embedded green, because hydropower project is the Himalayas should be reconsidered given Joshimat crisis. As we know that Joshimat crisis, there are many things that was happened, and the main reason for Joshimat's crisis is that we can say is land subsidence. Land subsidence is I told you, that is a sinking of land. Sinking of land, that means we can say is that was the main reason for Joshimat crisis. And one more thing that we need to keep in mind is that the crisis unfolding in Joshimat for over a month that has led the conversation on the relevance of hydropower in Himalaya region. So in that context, we have to understand the hydropower is often considered green energy because it generates electricity. And for electricity, our dependency mainly on what? On coal. So 75% productions, coal production that goes to the electricity plant, that mainly that we can say NTPC, and we can say that is the hydropower that is often considered green energy because it generates electricity from the natural flow of water without releasing any emission or pollutant, and it also does not rely on fossil fuels. So we have to think also about we need hydropower, and we have to conserve the ecosystem as well. So however, we can say the environment impact of hydropower can vary depending on projects and the way in which they are implemented, right? And larger scale hydroelectric dams in the packed local ecosystem and communities, that we can say the recent example is Joshimat crisis, that was the main reason for that. And as we know that the Himalayas are a major waste sources for much of South Asia. Most countries in the region like India also that comes in the Himalaya region, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, so that built hydropower project in the Himalaya region. And in India, the government has identified hydropower as a key renewable energy sources. So the development of hydropower project in the Himalaya has been controversial. And why it's so? Because it somehow hamper the ecosystem and we can say the community living over there. So the ecosystem chain has been disrupted. That's why we can say that these things is happening. Or micro hydro system that can be classified in two main types: runoff river storage system and runoff river system, right? So micro hydro system that can be tailored to minimize the ecosystem negative impact and provide sustainable energy solution. So this is the main crux of the article. And as we know that we have to take initiative, we have to take example of another country as well. So in Bhutan, hydropower is the main source of revenue, and the government has set a target to export surplus electricity to India. And this country has built several hydropower projects, including the Chukha hydropower project and Tala hydropower project, right? And we can say that the development of hydropower project in the Himalayas has been controversial, beside environmental impacts in Joshimat and other parts of Uttarakhand, right? So there are also concern about the potential conflicts over water resources in the region. And as we know that Himalaya is fragile ecosystem and home to a diverse range of flora and fauna, and it is already threatened by deforestation, overgrazing and construction activity that harm the environment and local communities that depend on it, right? Now moving to the next one. Scientists take on the Union Budget 2023-2024. In this article, the important takeaways for the exam is, as we know that Union Budget was announced on February 1st, just after the economic survey. And in this article, the 5 scientists and science administrators present key takeaways for the budget. Amritkal budget is favorable for the India science and technology ecosystem, and the CSIR that has taken active presence in the all of its focus area. It plays a pivotal role in green hydrogen research and development and under the National Hydrogen Mission. It has a sickle cell anemia mission as the budget announced a national mission to eliminate disease by 2047. Right? Now, so India 2023-2024 budget allocated 2,000 crore, that more than what the Ministry of Science and Technology received in the 2023 and 2024. The Department of Science and Technology saw a major upstick but not a big jump after inflation and GST. Third one, we can say that the vision of New India is clear in the budget: green growth. As we have already discussed the budget complete analysis, right? Go to the Pratham Test Prep YouTube channel and watch this. You will get to know all the information, relevant information for your exam and for your awareness also. So the vision of India is that the green growth, because I told you that the dependency on the, they can say, on OPEC country. So the green growth principle in the innovation ecosystem requires biotechnology to play a major role in the finding sustainable solution. DBT क्या है? DBT, which means Department of Biotechnology, is developing a policy framework for high performance biomanufacturing to foster world class facilities and workforce in synthetic biology based manufacturing particles. Again, the next thing that we can say, science and tech, and all thought out plans need better implementation. So how the funds are allocated, that will determine the benefits of increase. Hand in hand with the agri-tech push, millet research will also tremendous nutrition benefit in the long run. Opening up select India's Council of Medical Research, the labs for the research to the public and private sector. The push for education and research on the biomedical devices, pharma research and AI interdisciplinary research are much needed. And for teacher training, innovative pedagogy that will require, going beyond being a buzzword on identifying trainers for teachers is the key of successful implementation. That was the main crux of the article. Moving further, the North Star. Recently, the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and CGI, Chief Justice of India, which is D.Y. Chandrachud, have recently used a metaphor to refer to something that leads the provides direction. So, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar on Friday said Parliament is the North Star of democracy, a place for discussion and deliberation to realize the aspiration and dreams of the people. And by the Supreme Court in 1973, Keshavanandi Bharati judgment, and that judgment as the North Star that guides gives certain direction to the interpreters and implementation of constitution when the path ahead is convoluted. So polarized, known as North Star or Pole Star, is we can say a very bright star around 2500 times more luminous than the sun. It is a part of constellation Ursa Minor and around 323 light years. Light year, that we can say the astronomical distance must be measured in light year. So Christopher Columbus, we can say that on the first transatlantic voyage of 1492, had to correct the ship's bearing for the circle described by the pole star about the pole. So the first well-known instance of the North Star appearing in the literature outside of a technical treatise or astronomy or a biology of an explorer is an Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, where the eponymous emperor described himself as a constant of Northern Star. So this is main crux about the article. Next is a 1,000 kilometer week-long journey, leaving no stone unturned for Ram Temple. So the two holy shaligrams stones weighing 31 or 15 tons each reached Ayodhya from Nepal in a cavalcade Thursday, accompanied by police, welcomed by devotees. So we have two short things about the background information about shaligram stones. So sacred shaligram stones, the two sacred shaligram stones weighing 31 tons and 15 tons arrived in Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh, and the stones are expected to be used for the constructing the idols of Lord Rama and Janaki at the Ram temple. If you talk about the shaligram stones, that is the fossils of ammonite, which is a type of mollusk that lived between 400 million and 65 million years ago. And the shaligram stones date specifically from the early Oxfordian to the late Tithonian age near the end of Jurassic period, some 165 to 140 million years ago. And it is mostly found in the river beds of bank of the Kali Gandak, a tributary of Gandak river in Nepal. And we can say this stone is revered by Hindus who believe to be representation of Lord Vishnu, and the stone is considered to have divine powers and seen as a symbol of good luck and prosperity. If you talk about the significance, is that Lord Ram is believed to be the reincarnation of Lord Vishnu, and the use of shaligram stones symbolizes the connection between two gods. This is all about the crux of the article. Next one is talking about the US shoots down balloons, Beijing wants to respond. So basically the things is the China said it is civilian weather balloon that drifted, of course, but the US call it a surveillance balloon. Such Chinese balloon have been spotted over Asia, including the Andamans. What was the main things that we need to think about in this newspaper article is why Chinese spy balloon, and that US military has downed the suspected Chinese spy balloon over the Atlantic Ocean and launched a mission to recover all the equipment from its debris. So this has drawn a strong reaction from China, which warned to repercussion over America's use of force against the civilian unmanned airship. And why USA is worried for that? So earlier Pentagon said it detected a surveillance balloon over Montana, and it was found to traveling at an altitude well above commercial air traffic. So that's why both the countries have been clash over it, right? And the Montana is a home of American most lethal nuclear intercontinental ballistic missile, which is ICBM. And US ne claim kiya that the balloon was being used by the People's Republic of China to surveillance strategic sites in the continental United States. So the spy balloons, why it is called as spy balloons? Because the China wanted to know about what the things is going on in the USA, so that they can collect the information, right? And by shooting down the balloon, USA addressed the surveillance threat posed to the military installations and further neutralize any intelligence value it could have produced and preventing it from returning to China. And that we have also what is spy balloons is that the contemporary spy balloon is a piece of spying equipment. For example, a camera is had to be used suspended beneath the balloon that floats above the given area and carried by wind currents. And the modern balloons that is over 24 to 37 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Moving to the next one, Andhra Pradesh capital conundrum. What is going on? Because earlier it was Andhra's capital was Hyderabad, and Telangana, that was a state separated from the Andhra. Telangana was from Amravati. Now the proposed capital Andhra was, later on Andhra capital was Amravati and Telangana capital was Hyderabad. And now the issue is going on that Andhra capital must be for the Vishakhapatnam. So why did the 2014 TDP government decide to Amravati as the capital city? And what is the Andhra Pradesh CRD Act? And what is the current Chief Minister plan to respect to capital city? So ever since the state of Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated by the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act of 2014. So that was the Act of Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014. Right, creating the state of Telangana, state of Andhra Pradesh. So when the two states was bifurcated, Andhra and Telangana, that was the year of 2014, right? Which act? Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014. So the capital city has always been a contentious issues of AP Narayan Chandrababu Naidu of Telangana Desam Party, which is called TDP, and with the bifurcation of the state had gone with the Amravati is the capital city. And government then passed the CRD Act and established the Andhra Pradesh Capital Region Development Authority for the purpose of planning, executive financing and securing the plan development. And why did Mr. Naidu chosen the Amravati? Because the commission was in that time Shiva Kishan Committee appointed 2014 favored decentralization and suggested the Vizag, which is called Vishakhapatnam sub-region, as a potential capital space. And however, Mr. Naidu was the opinion that Vishakhapatnam was already a developed city and had called it post-bifurcation as the financial capital of the state. What changed? 2019 में YSR Congress defeated TDP to form the government, immediately appointed the G.N. Rao committee to give a report on earlier decentralized capital idea. And what happened now? January 31st को Mr. Reddy is an investor summit at New Delhi declared that Vishakhapatnam will shortly become the capital and that he will also be shifting the port city. So the opposition party pointed out that it was contempt of court as the case it was still pending in the Supreme Court, and a senior advocate of AP High Court that was written to the Chief Justice of India citing the CM has grossly violated section 2C, that is contempt of courts. So we have to understand about the things that Chandrababu Naidu of Telangana Desam Party TDP, who had come to power in somewhere in June 2014, was the bifurcation of the state that had gone with the Amravati for the capital city of for Andhra Pradesh. And 2019, what has happened? The current Chief Minister Jagmohan Reddy, who is the Andhra Chief Minister right now also, came up with the idea of Vishakhapatnam, the executive capital, and Kurnool, the judicial capital, Amravati, the legislative capital. So there were three proposed capital of Andhra Pradesh. That was a Kurnool, which is known to be judicial capital, Amravati, and we can say Kurnool is the judicial capital, Vishakhapatnam executive capital, and Amravati should be the legislative capital. So the opposition party is having claim on that government, that is a, we can say, contempt of court as per the section 2C of the article. So however, after sustained allegation by farmers in March 2022, the Andhra Pradesh High Court gives a verdict stating that the state government should follow through the earlier Andhra Pradesh CRDA Act, which Amravati would be the state capital. Now moving the tax gambit, we have already discussed in the union budget session, but again I am telling you. So there was Finance Ministry announced that a change in income tax slabs, that is rebate limit under the new income tax regime. So according to proposed 2023 finance bill, startups that offer share of foreign investors may be subject to paying the angel tax, which were previously only applicable to investment raised by the Indian residents. So we have already discussed about the angel, what exactly angel tax. So enhancement of this limit to 7 lakhs to 5 lakhs, that indicates that person whose income is less than 7 lakhs need not invest anything to claim exemptions, and the entire income would be tax free irrespective of the quantum of investment made by such an individual. Right. So we have already discussed about this article, and moving to the next one. ASI, which is Archaeological Survey of India, decided to form a special panel to trace the certified 24 missing monuments. So the Archaeological Survey of India had decided to form a special committee to trace the certified 24 protected monuments which have gone missing. And the decision comes after repeated red flags by a parliamentary committee as well as the criticism from the Economic Advisory Council of Prime Minister. So we have to think about what is the main work of ASI. Centrally protected monuments missing. So as we know that centrally protected monuments are sites which have been declared under the provision of Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958, which is called AMSAR Act. So AMASR Act regulates the preservation of monuments and archaeological sites of national and historical importance that are more than 100 years old. And इस एक्ट के अंदर the conservation, preservation and environmental development of the protected monuments is undertaken by the Archaeological Survey of India. Right. Next article talking about windfall tax on crude oil and diesel, ATF exports high. So what is windfall tax? जब कोई भी कंपनी बेनिफिट करती है जिस पर्पज से वो नहीं है, that is known to be a windfall tax. So when company benefits from something that they are not responsible for, the financial gain that ensues is called windfall profits. So the governments typically levy one-time tax over the above and normal tax on such profits, and that is called windfall tax. Since energy companies are gaining profits not because of any improvement in their process but because of the geopolitical situation, many governments are considering to impose such tax. This will somehow boost the government's finance and help funds efforts to protect vulnerable sections of the rampant inflation. That's why the decision is that the government has hiked the windfall tax. Right? Okay. Now the discrepancies in at least AISHE report. So recently released AISHE report, which is called High on Higher Education, right, which is revised the gross enrollment ratio, GER. What GER is talking about? Gross enrollment ratio is that how many child has got enrolled in the school section. So, and that report has to be published by the, as I told you, Pratham NGO. So many states that we're talking about, Tamil Nadu population projected used in the AISHE report, and we can say Tamil Nadu was used as an example of highlighted these discrepancy in that is AISHE report, and many states are suffering because most of the students after the eighth standard they left out the schools. So Tamil Nadu, that GR report need to be understand that GR expressed as the percentage is calculated by dividing the total enrollment in higher education courses by the projected population in the 18 to 23 age group. That is called gross enrollment ratio. Now it's time to questions of the day. So question of the day is the very first question. What is the main difference between communism and socialism? Option A. Communism aims for a classless society where socialism aims to fair distribution of the wealth. Socialism advocates for government control of production while communism advocates for worker control. Communism is based on the idea of planned economy while socialism allows for a mixed economy. And D is another above. It's obvious the answer to be D. The ultimate goal of communism is to abolish social classes and create a classless society where everyone has equal access to resource and wealth. In contrast, socialism aims to create a fair distribution of wealth where the means the production are owned and controlled collectively, but there are still be some unequal distribution of wealth. What do you mean by macrosomnia? So it was somewhere in the news. Option A, it is defined as condition in which the baby is born with an excessive body weight. It is defined as a condition in which a baby is born with a low body weight. It is defined as a condition in which baby is born with a birth defect and none of the above. So A is the right answer. The term macrosomia used to describe these giant babies in macrosomia Greek in the large body. Any baby that weigh more than 4 kg regardless is their gestational age is said to have macrosomia. The baby must be a more than 4 kg of weight. Question third. If a commodity is provided free to the public by the government, then the opportunity cost is zero. The opportunity cost is ignored. The opportunity cost is transferred from the consumers of the product to the tax-paying public. The opportunity cost is transferred from the consumer of the product to the government. Okay, so C is the right answer. As we know that opportunity cost represent the benefits an individual, investors, or business misses out when choosing one alternative over another. When you have the opportunity to access public services for free, this would always come at a cost of somebody paying for it. So in that case, taxpayer bears the opportunity cost. So C is the right answer. Which of the following statements best describe the term black swan event? So, option A, an economy which is severely starved of foreign currency reserve, vaccination of birds to prevent their high death rates, mass killing of black swan to prevent the spread of bird flu, a rare, unpredictable event that comes as a surprise and has a significant impact on society. So the D would be the right answer. This is an unpredictable event that comes as a surprise and has a, we can say, significant impact on society. So D is the right answer. So black swan is a rare unpredictable event that comes as a surprise and has a significant impact on society of the world. And these events are said to have three distinguished characteristics. They are extremely rare and outside the realm of regular expectation. They have a severe impact after they hit, and they seem probable in the hindsight when plausible explanation appear. And here the last questions of the day. Which of the following acts provided for the right to ask questions and discuss the budget? Indian Council Act 1892, Charter Act 1833, Charter Act 1813, Indian Council Act 1861. So A is the right answer. And the feature of the Act of 1892, it increased the number of additional, which is called non-official members in the central and provincial legislative councils, but maintained the official majority in them. It increased the functions of legislative councils and gave the power to discussing the budget and addressing questions to the executive. So this is all about the session, student. Meet at 3 p.m. for the deep dive session. That would be very, very important. We discussed about the economic survey, highlights and complete analysis of the session at 3 p.m. of deep dive. And one more thing is that if you are new in this channel, please subscribe the channel as well. And you can tell about how was this class. Anything you would like to ask, please let me know in the comment section. And share this video to the maximum number of students. Thank you so much for joining with us. Bye-bye and take care. We meet at 3 p.m. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care once again.